Only on 2 tonight, what appears to be a horrible case of animal abuse involving horses. The problem was no one in charge seemed to be doing anything about it until KTVU's Rita Williams started investigating. And within the past few hours, her video and phone calls paid off. And Rita tells us it now appears the horses are going to be saved.
It's a beautiful place for such an ugly sight.
You see, the horses are on the property over on this hill over here.
Horsewoman Melinda Gomer dismounted as we hiked the next 2 miles to the top of the hill above El Sobrante to see this.
This is absolute abuse right here. This is neglect. It looks like it's walking death. And it's a young horse. It's really sad.
Protruding bones, hairless skin, ripples of ribs, quite literally skin and bones. Eating grass like their lives depended on it. The East Bay Regional Parks end right here where the private property begins, and the horses are behind the locked gate. Independent of each other, Gomer and another horse rider took photographs of these horses 3 weeks ago, sent them to Contra Costa County's animal control, then heard nothing. She even contacted a horse shelter in Oroville that agreed to rescue the horses. Looking at the pictures, its director told me by phone today the horses are dying.
They're in a critical state. They are starving. They probably have a huge parasite load.
We're hoping to get them some help.
An animal control officer hung up on us today. It took a call to a county supervisor to get the director aware of the situation. Late this evening, 3 weeks after first being alerted to the horses, animal control officers and a veterinarian finally entered the locked gates. And tonight, the animal control director told us they seized 3 horses and will be back tomorrow for a 4th. They're also looking at possible animal neglect charges against the owner. In El Sobrante, Rita Williams, KTVU, Channel 2 News.
4 horses that appeared to be starving and neglected are now in the care of Contra Costa County Animal Services. It's a story we first told you about last night when a call from KTVU got Animal Services involved. KTVU's Rita Williams saw the animals today and found out they are all former race horses.
As you see here, Animal Services officers unloaded the last horse they seized off a 63-acre privately owned pasture high above El Sobrante. This horse now joins 3 others taken off the property late yesterday.
They were in a situation where we needed to impound them immediately.
Duct tape on one foot, protruding bones, hairless skin, ripples of ribs, quite literally skin and bones.
At least 100 pounds. This mare's probably at least 100 pounds underweight.
But this didn't happen overnight.
No, ma'am. This happened over a period of, I'd say, months.
All thoroughbreds, all former racehorses, officers say, now owned by Cesar Nungary Guzman. They say he paid the property owner to allow his horses to stay there. Officers say the owner may now face criminal neglect charges.
The bottom line is, if you have an animal in this condition, you are responsible, and we hold you accountable for it.
A horsewoman sent these photos to Animal Services 3 weeks ago, saying it was an emergency. It took our video of the horses, a call to a county supervisor, and to the Animal Services director before an officer actually saw these horses yesterday.
It should have been apparent by looking at the photos that this was an emergency situation.
Officers say they'll continue to monitor the 5 other horses still on the property to make sure they don't end up like the horses here. In Martinez, Rita Williams, KTVU, Channel 2 News.
Continuing coverage now of a story we first brought you about 2 weeks ago. It involves 4 neglected and emaciated racehorses that were rescued after KTVU's Rita Williams stepped in. Tonight, Rita tells us the horses are getting better and several investigations are now underway.
A new home, at least for now, and a chance for these 4 malnourished horses to survive.
We're cautiously optimistic. You can get into 2 or 3 weeks into it or 4 weeks into it and you can still lose them. So that's why we're being really, really careful.
It took a lot to get these horses here to the Contra Costa County Animal Services in Martinez. Concerned citizens sent these photos to Animal Services, pleading with them to rescue the horses off private ranch land in El Sobrante. 3 weeks later, still no investigator had seen the horses. They contacted me. I called a county supervisor and the Animal Services director, and the horses were seized the same day. Why did it take more than 3 weeks to get these horses out of here?
There was no excuse for that. And that should have happened. There should have been some immediate action on this right away.
Howell says Animal Services now is conducting an internal investigation and a criminal investigation of the horse's owner, Cesar Nungary Guzman, who did not return my calls today.
We're looking at animal neglect charges.
I don't understand how people can do this, no.
All 4 horses are mares, thoroughbreds, all former racehorses. Because of rain rot, a bacterial skin condition, they're losing clumps of hair. But after 2 weeks here, new hair is coming in. And the horses are eating as if their lives depend on it, because they do. In Martinez, Rita Williams, KTVU, Channel 2 News.